Good morning, Carol Bankerd. My daughter August and I have been worshiping at St. James regularly since 1978 with August's father and my husband, Richard Olson. Richard and I were married at the Princeton University Chapel in spring 1971 when I was the first female full-time faculty and surprised at the Princeton School of Architecture and Urban Planning. I didn't know that I was breaking a ceiling. I just thought it was the next step. It was. Our outreach to others, our family, began in earnest in the early 80s when August and I began inviting people seated on benches outside Central Park in the morning to come to St. James in the afternoon for soup and a sandwich, which Jane Bryan was making in the kitchen, along with a few others of us. And when we came together, we sat down together at the table in Coburn Hall. We were a small group, but we were the beginning of the luncheon and what became the dinners, and which I continue to pursue. And I want to say that I think that meaningful experience for August continues with her at Christ Church in Greenwich, or not Greenwich that time, in North Carolina, where she and her children attend church at Christ Church. And at that time now, and they are continuing, they have dinner for men who stay overnight as well. So it's just a small group that's brought into Christ Church, but they have accommodations that they can have everyone stay overnight as well. And it's nice to be with them at dinner, and we sit with them at dinner as well. And there was, and there still is, a wonderful fellowship at St. James. And during the time that August and I were especially active here together, Bishop Donegan was very present part of our parish. We were very lucky to have him post his bishop leadership uptown. He came down to us, and that was wonderful. And especially during the square dances, which he led in a way that I think all the children thought this was wonderful, that an important man would be dancing with them. And he was doing the element left with my daughter. And she remembers that very well. And in those terms, I think that August began to see her partnership in the church, not just with the children of her age, but with everyone. And she is that way at Christ Church now. There were years spent living in the back country of Greenwich, Connecticut, while dividing our time between St. James and Christ Church, Greenwich. August sang in the St. Cecilia choir there, in fact, for 8 years, and then came here for her confirmation. And in fact, she gave the presentation representing her class from this very pulpit, even after her note cards had fallen to the ground over the edge. And I remember she looked out at me and I thought, "You're going to do fine." I didn't say that. I just sort of smiled at her. And she said, "You know, I realized that I didn't need the note cards. But when they went, I think everyone was thinking, what is she going to do now?" She didn't do anything. So we were going back and forth, and then that period ended, and I moved back to New York, and August was in college. So for our family, the community of St. James has been an important and long-term center of our lives. As a professor of visual arts, I know that observation is central to learning. I learned here at St. James how the community of the church is folded into our lives as family, faculty, and church members, where our time, our talent, and our treasure are enriched and expanded. The act of giving provides the richness of receiving ourselves as serving without measure. Ultimately stepping aside to open the way to allow us to flow forward. Now, Zach isn't here today, but I thought he was going to be here, so I added this because it has meant a lot to me. Of course, Zach means a lot to me too, but this particular statement that he made a few weeks ago in the sermon, as Zach, our rector, serves to remind us when we think about ourselves less as we serve the larger calling that Christ models us to follow. Thank you.